Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
Triple H at them.
Thank you for checking out the Batcast wrap-up.
Yeah.
I am your host, Andrew Caracci, alongside
Robert Roth.
and Robert. What do we have?
Robert?
What do we have?
Whoa. That is freaky.
Yeah, I just started again, so I'm just gonna...
Just ignore that, huh?
Right. What do we have in store tonight?
All right, tonight we'll be reviewing Batman animated series again. We have
It's so repetitive.
the following episodes: Robin's Reckoning, parts 1 and 2, The Laughing Fish, and Night of the Ninja. So again, with these, we did one of the two-parters is one episode, and then The Laughing Fish and Night of the Ninja is our second and third.
These are good.
Yeah.
All three of these are good. Like I said, they were going to be.
And we have three. Well, I mean, if you count Robin's Reckoning, if you split them apart and you put Night of the Ninja in there, we have 3 Robin episodes.
Right in a row. Yep.
Yep. So yeah, and Robin has
Well,
not been a
Laughing
big.
Fish wasn't. Oh, you're talking about.
No,
Gotcha.
we have Robin's Reckoning Part 1, Robin's Reckoning Part 2, and then Night of the Ninja. So 2-3 episodes, but he wasn't even annoying in these. It's like they just completely rewrote the Robin character.
I said I didn't remember him hating him like I did in the Christmas with the J-Hole, but I thought that he's been written very well over the times of the series. I couldn't believe how bad it was in the beginning.
Yeah. I don't understand. Like, I think he in these 3 that we just or the 3 that we just encountered with Robin, he was written better than Under the Red Hood as Nightwing. Like he was he was more annoying as Nightwing. So
he's good. He's really good.
oh, look at him! Look at that dick.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really big. You know, we made it almost 2 minutes before we went that route already. But
ghastly,
right? Well, I thought that we would try to not go with the child molest jokes like we go every week.
I didn't talk about molesting a child.
Well, since we're on the topic,
I was molested today
by a child. No. Oh God, we're getting fined.
We're getting fined.
So last week we had the Podomatic one work.
Mm-hmm.
The iTunes one worked, but YouTube didn't.
Well, yeah. So Podomatic and iTunes are pretty linked, and then YouTube is never the problem. So right. I'm shocked
and appalled.
And appalled. And molested. I feel like I was molested by YouTube.
And shocked.
Shock master.
The shock meister.
But yeah, so it is what it is. I mean, oops. But yeah, so I recently started getting into the Batman comics. So that's what it is. I mean, is YouTube going? Okay, so we have YouTube. Yeah, that's what that is. So I recently this is getting into I'm scared right now. So yeah, okay, so we have YouTube. That's what that is. We're doing yeah, I'll stop it. Okay, that was scary for a minute. I remember that happening. You did that when we were doing the pinfall wrap-up, like midway through the run of that. Right? But no, I just recently got into the Batman comics. I've been working through The Killing Joke. I'm almost done with that one. And then I have the Death of the Family compilation,
you
but not
got that
Joker.
one.
Yeah, it's Death of the Death of the Family.
Yeah.
From the Joker, it's not Death in the Family. That's the one where Robin gets killed off. This is Death of the Family, which is the play on the earlier Death in the Family.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. This is pretty much Joker's return in New 52. And it's him torturing everyone that he comes across. So we have a Nightwing one in there, Batman one. There is he encounters Mr. Freeze in one. He just is going through everyone. The Red Hood is in there. So it's a compilation. And I think when I'm done with that one, I'm going to do. They have City of Owls, Court of Owls, and then there's one more after that are like a series of 3 that I'm going to try to work my way through.
I wonder if it's in relation to the 3 movies they just released, where it was Batman. The first one was called Son of Batman versus Robin, and Bad Blood, which all incorporated the owls.
Mm.
Well, the second one did. The first one didn't so much.
Yeah, because it's and this is all the New 52.
Right, that's based off the New 52 as well.
Mm-hmm. So,
and they were fucking awful. But I heard the read was good.
Okay, yeah.
They said the read was like really, really good, and the movies were so disappointing.
So I guess my goal is I'm going to try to keep on getting these as I can afford them, as I finish them, and I'm going to just keep on. And if you want them after to read or whatever, because I'm going to make it through the Joker one now. I don't expect that I'm going to be able to necessarily go 100% in order on these, because there's so many like compilations and so many like different like things intertwined. Like the way Batman is, it seems like they combine a lot of universes into it. So when you get a compilation, sometimes you'll get like stuff from a bunch of the different comics that are running side by side with it. Where the Court of Owls, City of Owls, and there was a Court of Owls, City of Owls, and the third one in there are all just Batman New 52, like in a row for them. So when I go to those 3, those will exclusively be Batman in an order. But I feel like it's going to be very hard to stay in order on these. So I'm going to be more focused on just individual stories, regardless of like the universe or like where it falls in time. Because I think if I get too caught up on like trying to read everything and stay in order, I'm going to be like super disappointed because I feel like I'm going to hit a lot of shit I just don't care about. I want to just focus on like good stories that are within there.
Right.
Things that I actually am like engaged in and want to like read, not something where I'm like halfway through and like, this is fucking dumb. I wasted my life.
Oh, like Rupert Thorne? Never mind.
Yes. But yeah, so I don't know.
I haven't read a lot of comics just in general. I'm more of the fan of the show, and like I know about most of them. I've never read Death of a Family, like the original one.
Mm-hmm.
I had never read Red Hood as well, but I did read Killing Joke, Black Mirror. I think it's called Black Mirror. That one's pretty good. And I do own a Joker comic that was pretty good. But I mean, like, other than that, I haven't really read a whole lot.
Yeah, the Red Hood, he has quite a fucking spinoff. Like, he ends up pretty much working as a crime fighter. Is his whole thing. So his whole comic is him and a partner, and they end up like they're a duo crime fighting team. So I'm thinking about checking that out.
Fucking bitch.
So and then that would actually directly come after Under the Red Hood. So that's where that story goes. He ends up fighting crime on his own.
Yeah, that would have been after Red Hood.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're all right over there.
Nerves.
Here, watch this. All right, see how that worked? That is very incognito me opening my can here.
You could have just opened up the can because it's just as annoying. That's just like, hold on, I gotta open up this can. This is what it would sound like. And then this is what it sounds like when you're covering over. Fuck!
Yes. I love watching the spikes. I see me like my whole screen just goes blue. It's awesome.
So Did you get any further through the Telltale?
No.
Start, okay.
No. I just have not had the time. That's something where, like, now I've been focused on a few different things right now. And I think I would have had more time considering I haven't worked for the last, 4 days now. I took a last-minute vacation here, but
To go golfing in the Bahamas.
Yeah, golfing in the Bahamas or just, doing a bunch of
Doesn't
mistakes.
even know a golf set.
I don't. But if I ever need one, I can get one quickly. But
Golf is one of those games that everyone should at least play once. Especially
mini golf.
Yeah, you want to golf with kids that are pissing all over the course. I don't. I'd rather go on a real golf course where grown-ass men are pooping and shitting all over the course. Pooping and shitting. That's different.
Well, the immature ones poop. The real men shit.
Right.
So you have a little bit of each walking around.
You ever taken a public shit?
In front of people? No.
Like in a public area that wasn't a bathroom?
No.
Okay. I haven't either.
Okay, I was wondering where this frightening story was going.
I did have a friend that did it while we were hanging out. We were when I was a kid, we used to kind of down and just go into random stores
this
with no
was when
money.
you were a kid though,
Right.
so that's okay.
With no, well, I was 16.
Not as okay anymore.
Right,
All right.
15, 16 years old. So we'd go into we didn't have any money. We were just bored, so we just go into stores and look at stuff. So we went into an antique store, and my buddy went to the back of the store because he had this weird thing where he had to take a shit in every place that he's ever been in. He has to take a shit either next to the toilet, in front of the toilet, or just if he can't find a toilet, just out in the store somewhere. Because he had a list of certain stores that he hasn't hit yet, and this antique store happened to be one of the ones on his list. So he takes the shit, and somebody saw him. So the one thing he could have thought of doing is just pretend like I'm retarded. So he did the whole hand thing, beating his chest, while he's taking the shit, and then ran out of the store with his pants below his ankles, pulling them up.
See, when people are reading the description for the episode, I put, miscellaneous whatever and much, much more. I can't really put stories like this into words when I'm writing the description because how do you classify this? And Andrew might tell a story about a guy taking a shit in an antique store.
One of my friends used to always take a shit by the DMV. Every day we take a shit by the DMV.
The DMV right off of 94?
The old DMV.
Oh,
the one
okay.
that used to be off West Avenue.
Okay.
He would, I would have probably been 12 or 13 around this time.
Okay.
His parents would go to work and he'd come down to my house to hang out, but he would leave the house and they would have to take a shit immediately, and they would just take a shit up in the woods.
Okay.
Or right by the DMV. I knew a lot of people that took shits not in toilets. It's really weird. Because this is a completely different person. And then one time, the other guy who took a shit up there was telling me, he's like, dude, you want to see a dead dog? You want to see a dead dog? I'm like, I don't want to see a dead dog. He's like, do you want to see a dead dog? Dude, there's a dog up in the field. It's dead. I'm like, I don't want to see a dead dog. So I'm like, fine, let's go see the stupid dead dog. So he brings me up there and he shows me his shit. He starts laughing.
So what's better? The dead dog.
Well, I couldn't. I guess the shit, because at least a dead dog would have been kind of weird seeing a dead dog.
It's just laying there.
Right.
It's just
I did see a deer commit suicide once.
Okay.
So I was walking to school, and I used to cut through the DMV field and I noticed that there was some cemetery. There was a deer.
Okay.
And he was trying to jump the fence. So the cemetery used to have, this is Prairie Home Cemetery. They used to have, they took down most of the fences, but they used to be a green fence with these spikes at the top.
Oh God, no.
So I saw the deer. It jumped once and didn't make it. Second time, he couldn't get up high enough. So then I saw him back up a little bit. I'm like, oh, dear God. And he backed up even more. And he starts running full speed and jumps. He didn't make it over the fence.
Yes.
I was 13 years old, I think.
Oh, my God.
And I saw this deer just hanging on the fence. And I'm like,
just impaled himself?
yeah. It
Right.
stabbed him right here in the chest. And I went to school. I came back from school to see if it was still there. It was still there. It was there for about a week before somebody actually did something about it. Because no one ever went up there.
Can you imagine the groundskeeper? Oh, God damn it, another deer. Like,
Field by the DMV was weird. You'd run into woodchucks, deer, obviously, a lot of deer. And it's like, it's a small fucking field. It's like the size of this apartment. Like, it's a small field.
right.
And maybe bigger than the apartment, maybe twice the size. But I mean, like, it was small. But you'd get these deer that would just look like completely out of place. Beavers, woodchucks, skunks, raccoons, this weird, like, anteater, I think, maybe, or a bear. I'm not sure.
I was going to say, I doubt it's either of those two. You get either, what's a weird, it's an anteater or a lion. Like,
Polar bear.
possibly a buffalo. I'm not sure. I'm not good with animals. Like, okay.
Yeah, fucking
Cool.
giraffe. But it's some kind of...
What's that thing? An octopus? I think it's an octopus. Fuck.
No, but anyways, it was kind of a weird area. But yeah, I totally saw a deer commit suicide.
That actually is a deer committing suicide.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, really, the only thing I consistently see around me on my way to work are animals that are oversized. Because there's a federal, like, wildlife preserve between where I live and my way to work. So there are turkeys that are, like, the size, like, half the size of a refrigerator box. And there'll be, like, 5 or 6 of them just walking around. You're like, holy fuck, that's a big turkey. The deer get huge because no one can hunt these. They just live until they die. So unless they, like, run out into the road and get hit by a car, which I wouldn't want to do, or they just, like, sit there and die of old age, these things just get massive and then they just fucking die. So if you ever want to see, like, insanely huge animals, just drive right next to Highway 16 headed into Pewaukee. Holy shit.
Do they feed them, like, Dunkin' Donuts?
It's possible. Does that make them grow? Are you saying I'm fat? Are you saying I'm, like, growing to be extremely huge? Like a fucking buffalo?
Are you in a natural wildlife preserve?
I'm preserved. I'm preservated. Yeah. Think about that.
I don't want to.
Think about my ass getting preservated.
I got another weird animal story.
Is it about a bat? A man dressed as a bat.
I wouldn't classify it as an animal story. So I was down in Chicago, and we went for an art field trip. So it might have been junior year or whatever in high school. So we're down there, and I was, walking out with my friend. We went to the art museum, and then you have 2 hours, do whatever you want downtown Chicago.
Oh, Jesus.
Like,
okay.
the teachers
do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Adios.
Yeah,
Right.
And of course none of us had money, so we were just like walking around doing nothing.
Okay.
And I had enough money to eat. That was about I had $20, enough for I can get like a piece of pizza or something because everything's fucking expensive.
Yeah, with their fucking 10% sales tax they have down there. Yeah.
So, the thing I noticed between there and up in Wisconsin is their pigeons are extremely fat.
Oh, and they have no fear of people.
Right, they walk on the sidewalks.
They will come up to you and peck at your foot.
Right. Yeah. That was something I wasn't used to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were massive, like to the point where they couldn't fly. They were that big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just kind of they make their wings go a little bit, and they're like, fuck it, this is too much work.
Right. So this had to have been during the time where I knew how to gobble. So it had to have been senior year then. So behind this guy who clearly has some kind of mental problem, I would assume, because there's pigeons out in the road. I mean, not in the road, but on the sidewalk, just walking with them. So I decided I'm going to fuck with this mentally challenged guy. So I start gobbling at him, just going, woo, woo. that kind of stuff. And he would turn around and look around, and he looks down the ground and he sees the pigeon, this big white fucking pigeon. He's like, "Shut the fuck up, you fucking pigeon!" And he kicked into the road.
Oh, Jesus.
It was like, why?
I didn't see the story going there. But
I was like, gotta admit, didn't see that one coming. But yeah, that happened.
Kicked the pigeon, probably collapsed his lungs, broke a rib or two.
It might have got hit by a car, but I'm not sure. I kind of didn't want to be around that area. I'm like, holy shit. They didn't have apples. It was weird, electronic devices and shit. I didn't realize that. So, Batman.
All right.
Where can they find our podcast?
Find our podcast on iTunes. Search for either Pinfall Wrap Up or Batcast, and
Mad Dog 2001.
Mad Dog 2001 on YouTube will work. So if you're on YouTube, which means you're listening to us right now, so you already found us. But in the future, search Mad Dog 2001 or Batcast for Batman the Animated Series, and you'll find us there.
Make sure you tell your friends.
If they're in the Batman and you're in the Batman, also when we finally start getting chugging along on the comics, if you want something with that in there in the future, we just kind of briefly talk about it or whatever. But I'm kind of gung ho about that because the stories are comics. I feel like the comics might be where they really shine.
Well, yeah, that's where
that's its source material, obviously. But man, they're
well, they could do a whole lot more.
Yeah, I mean, just so far in The Killing Joke, holy shit. The amount of thought that just went into Joker in there and his wife. That story was depressing but funny at the same time. They get into a backstory about the Joker, and his wife's pregnant, and he's trying to figure out how to take this before he's a Joker. He's trying to figure out how to pay bills. So he decides he just needs to do one crime, just one crime, so they can move to a better area. He can finally be a good husband. And then the cops get to him, and they're like, "Yeah, just so you know, your wife, she was trying out bottle warmers, and one exploded, and she's dead." Jesus Christ! But
did he tell him because he was drinking a beer or whatever, he might as well order another?
Yeah, might as well get another. Yeah, it was something along those lines. So
there's no hurry. She's dead.
Yep.
Might as well stay here and take it. Yeah, I remember that. That wasn't in the movie. That part wasn't when the cop said you might as well stay here and have another beer because there's no reason to go.
Did Mark Hamill do the voice of pre-Joker? Pre-Joker Joker also.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
Yep. So yeah, I remember when I read it. I remember being like, "This is a pretty good story," but I wasn't I didn't think it was the best Batman story, and I didn't know how it would do as a film because it's kind of short.
Right.
So I knew that. So when we review The Killing Joke, and we'll eventually get to it. I mean, it might be the next one we do. Who knows? But the Killing Joke, the movie, how everyone shat all over it because they added in a 30-minute Batgirl thing that really had nothing to do with the movie. But the way I looked at it, it was just an episode of the animated series,
mm-hmm. like a bonus episode.
Right. That's the way I looked at it. People would assume, but everyone got mad about that story. They hated the fact that Batman and Batgirl had a fuck tent on the rooftop.
Who cares?
Right. That's Bruce Timm's Batman. That's what Bruce Timm has been doing with him. That he makes Batman. He's full of flaws.
Mm-hmm.
He's righteous, but his righteousnesses are it's still flawful. What is it really? You'll see how Bruce Timm's Batman will evolve into this you saw it with Batman Beyond. It's the same Batman. You saw what he turns into. He ends up by himself with a dog. Doesn't trust anybody still.
Whatever happened to Alfred? He just
I think he died.
Yeah.
And that I know in The Dark Knight Returns he's still alive. He's probably 80 or 90. Because Batman's 60. So, or close to 60. I think he's 55. And he's in his 50s or 40s. White hair. It's this beautiful white hair, though.
Of course it is. It's Batman.
And he's fucking huge.
Of course he is. It's Batman.
I mean, he's bigger. He is massive. There's a part where these two thugs are going to rob him in the street. And he towers over both of them. And he sits there and he's like, try it. I dare you. Right? They both have knives and his hands are in his pockets. He's like, go ahead, try it. I dare you. Go ahead. Give me an excuse. And then they're like, oh man, this Spud's into it. Huh. Crazy old man. I don't want to fuck with this guy. He's crazy.
And they're gone.
And they walked away.
I'd probably do the same thing.
And that was him as Bruce Wayne, and he's been retired from Batman for like 10 years at this point. So, all right. I think we can get into the Robin's rectomy.
Robin's Reckoning. Yes. This is our two-parter we had. So this kind of gets into the backstory of Robin a little bit, which isn't anything they've even remotely explored in the series so far. So
this wasn't I will say this is a very adult story.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I saw this as a kid and didn't quite understand what happened. I remember when I first saw it, I was probably like 8. So from my understanding watching it, I remember liking it because I got to see Batman and Robin. I liked them when they worked together when I was a kid. I don't know why, but when I saw solo Batman episodes, I always felt like there's nothing joyful about it, nothing colorful. Robin added color to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he added something. I think that's why he was brought into the animated series, because Batman was a little too dark. And he needed something to kind of bring the color up just a little bit. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit, because Robin's a dark character too. He's just a little bit more he plays like he's kind of innocent. Like he hasn't seen all of it yet.
Right.
But it comes to the story. So you want to tell us what happened?
So Robin's backstory, he was a circus performer and acrobat.
Excuse me, hold on. All right, go ahead.
So he was an acrobat. His whole family was in the circus pretty much. The person who was running their, I don't know if you'd call him the circus master, who was running their troupe or whatever, was being shaken.
We'll call him the ringmaster.
The ringmaster, sure. The ringmaster. He was being shaken down by like a criminal, a mob guy, looking for protection money. Essentially you pay them and you're protected from him damaging you, hurting your people, whatever. Extortion, exactly. So the guy told him to pretty much go to hell. He's like, all right, you'll regret this. So the guy comes back. He cuts one of the trapeze ropes. And while Robin's parents were using it, it broke and they died. So this was Robin as a kid. So, and then they kind of get into the backstory of like how, or not Batman, but Bruce Wayne takes Robin in, to protect him from the mob people, because Robin was essentially a material witness to what had happened.
So I'm trying to figure out how old Robin is in the series. It sounds like he's about 19.
It's somewhere in there, because he keeps on saying, now that I'm in school, which would mean he's just starting college, or now that I'm in college.
He said college.
Right, now that I'm in college, which means you would think the way he's phrasing it means he just started it.
And then he said that line worked on me 9 years ago, but if you haven't noticed. So he was about 10 when his parents died in this universe. He's a little older than Bruce. That's what I know. It's like Bruce was really young. He was 8. And but when Robin's parents died, I want to say he was like 9 or 10. So a little bit older.
Right. So, so the guy it's pretty much getting into them now encountering the guy who had killed Robin's parents. And Batman trying to whoa. Big old antivirus thing just came up on my screen here. So we're gonna...
Is that good?
No.
I did see a deer commit suicide once. Okay. So I was walking to school, and I used to...
You alright? Is everything good?
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure it's playing.
Oh, you're checking the sound intermittently throughout it. So last time is it all got stripped after. I think it recorded the entire time. So I'm very conscious of making sure like nothing's muted or anything like that as we're going. So I think it got stripped after.
Because of the copyright material? I think so too. I think the YouTube took away some copyright. Hit me like a wrecking ball. There's one you can call. It's almost identical to the actual song.
Yes.
Are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay. You got a virus or
no? It's good.
AIDS?
It's good. It's fine.
Computer AIDS?
I shut the thing down. That was going to be trouble with that. So
I did that once.
You got computer AIDS?
Sure.
Okay. Audacity's still chugging along like a charm.
Mr. McMahon, hearing it from these
God damn it! Shut the fuck up.
Okay. Are you good?
Chugging along like a charm. Mr. McMahon, hearing it from these
God damn it! Shut the fuck up.
That could be a soundboard. Damn it! Shut the fuck up. Damn it.
Are you good?
Okay. So pretty much though, this was getting into the backstory of Robin trying to seek vengeance on those who killed his parents, and it was kind of like a parallel to it was a very strong parallel to Bruce Wayne's kind of beginnings, like with his parents dying, and you get to see how Bruce Wayne or how Dick Grayson's parents died. And
let's talk about the difference between the two. So Bruce was 8 years old. He was walking with his mom and dad, and they were brutally shot in front of him. His dad tried to kind of be the hero by, he made a sudden movement or whatever. It freaked the guy out, and he shot them both. Common criminal. No big name. Not there was no mastermind behind unless you watch the Telltale games. It was just a complete random killing. Robin's parents were killed a little bit more indirectly.
Well, it was made to look like an accident.
Right.
So it wasn't the violent crime that killed his parents.
Right.
It was made to look like an accident.
Right. And he didn't know either of the two people he was trying to kill. It could have been the kid. He could have died too. Bruce could have died too, but that wasn't really an issue because the guy ran away after he killed the guy's parents. So I think when Bruce saw that, he was like, oh, no. No one should ever have to go through that because I went through that.
Right.
So he took him in immediately. He had this weird bond with him without even knowing him. And kind of treated him like he brought him in like he was going to be this kind of father figure to him, and then just wasn't that at all in the beginning. Because he was Batman, obviously, so he kept that a secret because he has to.
Right.
But he was so focused on trying to stop Tony Zuko that he didn't want to spend any time with Dick when he probably needed it the most.
Correct. Which Alfred kind of brought to his attention too.
Right.
Hey, you had me, pretty much. You needed a friend the most. You need to, kind of be that friend for, Dick.
One thing I did like about this was the very, very, very beginning of it. You have them fighting those crooks on the construction site, and Batman figures out the name of the crook that's in charge, the boss, Barry. I forget his name, Barry Manilow or whatever.
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah.
And he knew exactly who that was. He knew that alias right away. And Robin obviously didn't know.
Correct, because you figure he's probably been keeping his eye on him for a long time. He's been on the back burner. So.
Right. And he's it was a complete accident, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe he kind of had an idea, but he told Robin to get the Batmobile, and then just started kind of treating him like a kid. And then with his own righteous reasons, but he never explains his reasons. And that's the difference between him and other. You see it in other shows that they try to pull this Batman or this kind of character off. It doesn't really come off very well because then they end up talking too much.
Right.
Like Arrow, for an example, they tried to pull him off as someone who doesn't want anyone ever to get killed, but yet he constantly puts people in harm's way, and he talks about it all the time. Where Batman just does things and doesn't care what you really. Well, not that he doesn't care. It's just not as. It's not important what you think.
Right.
He cares. He just doesn't. It just to him, it's not important. Which is kind of like not caring, I guess, in its own indirect way. So, this was the first time you actually got to see Batman kind of shut Robin out. What'd you think of that?
Well, at first, without knowing, you would think he's just coming off as a dick to be a dick, just because, that he's mistreating him. But then, as it goes on, you finally understand why he was being the way he was. And, I mean, he makes it explicit at the end of the second part, that he was just trying to protect Robin. So, but he looked like a dick. In the beginning of it, it's like, wow, he's really an asshole, so...
And he kept using and trying. I wonder if he tried to explain it. He doesn't do that though. He just doesn't do that kind of stuff. If he would have explained it, like sat him down and explained him why you can't come, I think Robin would been okay with it because he looks up to him and pretty much worships him. Because this is the guy who brought him in, who trained him, and this is it's his father.
Correct.
His adopted father. So to him, it's like, and you see him in the other episodes where he actually helps Batman rather than being a hindrance, like in the Ninja episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was actually
very helpful.
Very, very helpful.
Right. So, I thought this was a very good take on how they did the story. I'm not real familiar with the source material, but I think it's pretty similar. And, well, the thing with the animated series, a lot of it's very similar to the source material.
Right.
They go off on a little bit here and there. Like the Bane episode, they don't actually have Bane break Batman's back because they don't think their Batman's back he'd never be put in a situation where his back would get broken. He doesn't think he'd be outsmarted like that because they've made him so intelligent. And you see him in this episode really like scaring the crap out of these thugs. Like, even the part where he confronts the guy, he's like, so, about Zuko. He's like, I'm not squealing. And all he does is the fist clench.
Yeah, he cracks his knuckles like, I'm going to beat your ass. And it's like, uh-oh.
And he spills everything.
What was his line like, there's 30 stories between me, you, and 30 stories
that
between
was the other
and the ground or something. It was like, Jesus Christ.
He's like, listen, scumbag, it's me, you, and 30 stories. You're going to tell me exactly what I want to know.
Little DD, shit.
Right. I was like, damn. And then you see him like this whole episode, he's just like that. And then even in the flashbacks, he's like that. Just very ruthless.
Yeah.
Because you could tell he is pissed. And he wants to... Now, I don't know what he would have done if he got Zuko. Would he have brought him to justice?
One wonders.
Because he never really got him. He never did get him, really. The police got him.
Correct.
And it would have been... I think Batman now would have, just stopped him. But Batman then, when he was very new at it still, and this is a kid that he, like... I don't know. We've seen him in situations before where he was, like... like that time when he fought the was it the guy underneath the ground, the sewer king or whatever,
the Clock King. No, that was a different guy. You're talking about
the sewer guy, the guy
I know
had all the kids.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the first times you saw him like really, really angry. And this was another one where you just see him like.
I will say he's getting progressively darker as this goes on. He's coming closer and closer to the line, and he's having no issue with it. So
when he got when he confronted Stromwell, that was awesome. Where he just told him, he's like, "This isn't a social visit." Pushes him into a chair and says, "Listen. If you're protecting him, you're going to make me grumpy. You don't want to see me grumpy."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, Jesus, fuck.
Like, he already seemed grumpy as it was.
Right.
What'd you think of the score?
I feel consistent across all the episodes. I had no issue. I mean, it was in line
I
with.
thought this was better.
You thought so?
The music they kept playing every time he was driving the motorcycle. That was really cool because it felt really intense. Score in all these episodes were pretty good. Fish didn't really have a whole lot of thing in it. It was kind of a completely different episode than the other three. Like Robin's Reckoning and Night of Ninja were a lot more
These are the first three that have been like very consistent, just across the board, just all good. Like there really wasn't like one that like stood out as a weak one.
No.
So.
And so he gets the. So you get all the. This story was told in mostly flashbacks, similar to Mask of the Phantasm. Like, I bet you that's where they kind of got the idea of Mask of the Phantasm. They really liked the Robin Reckoning episodes, and they decided to kind of adapt that style of storytelling to the actual story. And it worked. I mean, we had flashbacks pretty much the entire episode up to the last 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Good, too.
Agreed.
Batman shows up at Zuko's lair or whatever, and he's tweaked out at this point. Like, he knows Batman's coming. He has no idea why Batman's even after him.
It's been 9 years. Yeah. So
they're like, why is he after you? He's like, I don't know.
God, he's fucking crazy. That's why.
I was just thinking, I'm like, I felt a little bad for Zuko because he has no idea.
Yeah, he's just like sitting there like getting it in the ass. Like, yeah.
He doesn't even know he killed anybody at the carnival.
Right. So,
or indirectly killed someone at the carnival. Commissioner Gordon, you saw him in a few scenes. Pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like in the beginning when he was at the circus to investigate the death of, he was Lieutenant Gordon there. So he was, you saw the younger version of him, kind of dealing with stuff. But yeah, he got another consistent performance there.
Alfred was good in this again. Yeah, this was, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, that's today. That's a good one. Very good.
What else do you want to add to it? Because I feel like we're missing a lot here. Like, we didn't really talk anything about it.
I'm trying to think if we had any real story lapses there. I mean, it was honestly, like, across two parts, it was a very straightforward story. It was just a story of Robin seeking vengeance for his parents' death.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
So, the guy who refused to pay the money to the crook for the protection money, there was no storytelling about that after the fact.
Yeah, whatever happened to him, like whatever.
Why was he never questioned? Why were the other carnival folks not like mad at him for at least talking it over with the crew? Because he made a decision without consulting his crew. I mean, like, I don't know. And if Robin or Dick, why does he have no remorse towards that guy at all? Any normal person, especially at that age, would. A little bit.
Well, I mean, he did end up saying, you always have a family in us, and Robin, so I mean, he still did.
Right.
And...
But I'm just saying, like, there was no reaction to it. Because he saw this scene happen. He saw the guy get kicked out of the office, and then his parents die because of a decision that relatively he made.
Correct.
Not his fault it happened, but it happened because of it. He decided to do the right thing, and the right thing just got his parents killed. So I don't know, if I'm 8, 10 years old, I'm probably like, maybe at that point, I'm probably mad, because you want to blame somebody.
Just mad at everything, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I would have liked him to be like maybe run at him, kick at him as a kid or some like full-grown adult, which I thought was a little weird.
Across the board, he really took things into his own hands even as a child, and just went about it.
Yeah.
So
he was walking around Gotham as a kid, looking for his uncle / father or whatever who killed his father. And yeah, so you got to see a little bit of like crime fighting with him too as a kid.
Right.
That was their little thing, saying like, okay, man, he wasn't some. This was a kid who had a little bit of skills before Batman met him. So yeah.
Well, and that's why it becomes obvious. That's why he picked him as a sidekick, essentially, as a protege, because this kid has what it takes. He has the drive. He has a good heart. He wants to do what's right. So. That's exactly what you'd be looking for. And you got to think, too, that, throughout everything, he's looking ahead to see who should eventually be his successor. And, I'm sure, the idea of, what ended up happening in Batman Beyond wasn't the end game for him. He wanted to, have someone trained in his ways, and then that would be the next generation. And then that person would, continue his work onward. But... So, I mean, he felt like he had a good candidate
it's
there.
It's tragic how that happened, though. Like, you'll see it develop into all these proteges that he's going to have. Because he goes through more than one, obviously. Some get killed. The first one, obviously, Robin just sees him, like, as this complete... Like, to him, he thinks there's an end game. Reason why they're doing this. Where Batman doesn't really have a reason anymore. He's just doing it.
Right.
And he won't, like, let up. He won't, like... There was a scene where he interrogated a guy in front of his family with his kid there. And it was a guy that they didn't even know for a fact was even a criminal. Interrogated him because he knew who the Joker... Like, he knew where the Joker was hiding. And Robin was in the room with him. And Batman's like, where is he? Who's the Joker? Like, where's the Joker? He was like, I don't know. And Robin's like, not now. Not here. Not in front of his family. Because he like broke into the guy's house.
Right.
And did it right in front of his family. And then Robin's like, that's it. I'm out of here. And he just walked out. That was the first time he walked out on him. And then there was another instant where it was between a situation where Batman knew who Batgirl was. But Robin didn't know who Batgirl was. And Robin, as Dick Grayson, was dating Barbara Gordon, who was Batgirl. But Barbara didn't know that Dick was Robin, vice versa. So a lot of the times they would leave dinner and that kind of stuff to go. And then they'd team together, but they didn't know each other's identity. Batman knew it, but Batgirl didn't know that Batman knew.
This is like fucking Jerry Springer stuff right here.
Right. So, this is Bruce Timm shit. This is what he does. He makes you think and like he puts a lot of emotion in it, and I think it works. So, like, I talk with my hands, you know what I'm saying? But
you get it.
So, Batgirl is, or Batman and Robin are arguing over stuff. That was one of the episodes where the one where he walked out. So he stopped working with him for a while. And Barbara thought there was something wrong between Dick and Bruce. So she went over to Bruce's house and asked, like, what's going on with you and Dick? Because you guys aren't talking to each other. You're fighting. You guys used to be really good friends. Like, what's going on? And then he just opened up the bookcase and walked her down to the Batcave and showed her the Batcave. And she was like, tell me this. She's like, well, I mean, it's like, you got your own secrets too. Isn't that right, Batgirl? He's like, how did you know? I make it my business to know.
Jesus. And that's why he's awesome.
So, and that's actually an episode that's in season 4. So we'll get to that.
Okay.
But like, I don't want to spoil any more, but you can kind of see how he has to know things, even if it's none of his business. Like, who Batgirl is not his business. He doesn't need to know that. Because if he needs to know that, then why does she not know that Batman's Bruce Wayne?
Right, exactly.
So it kind of goes both ways. There's even a scene where Robin actually gets mad at him because he puts it all together. It's like, he's like, yeah, he told me. You told her? He's like, yeah. He's like, and you told her about me? No. It's like, why didn't you tell me that? Why didn't you tell me that? And then he's like, I didn't think it was my place or my business to tell you. But it was your business to find out. It's like, I make it my business to know.
Yes.
So he gets kind of like obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
Batman's very obsessive compulsive. He has certain ways how he does things, and he has to do it like that. He has a certain fighting style, you'll notice. He doesn't take cheap shots. He has like a way he fights. In the Return of the Joker, even when he fights McGinnis, and McGinnis punches him in the balls, punches Joker in the balls, and then Robin's like, or not Robin, Joker's like, hey, Batman didn't fight like that. He's like, I'm not the real Batman. Because he told McGinnis to block out. Joker likes to talk, block him out, and just stay focused on the fight. And McGinnis like, I like to talk too. So he was talking shit back to him. And he's like, oh, you've gotten pretty bad at your old age. He's like, and then he starts laughing. He's like, he gets really, really mad at him and starts shooting at him and going apeshit and yelling at him. He's like, stop it. What are you doing? You're not supposed to do this. And then he's like, you've been trying to get the old man to laugh for years. Well, it won't work. He has no sense of humor. And besides, I don't see what makes you funny anyways. He's like, Batman didn't find you funny. He's like, you're not Batman.
Well.
Anyways, long story short, if Robin would have caught Zuko, I don't think he would have killed him.
Without
Batman being there. I thought that Batman had a better chance of killing him than Robin.
I don't know.
Because I feel like Batman is more on Batman has a code that he lives by that he taught Robin. And Robin goes by what Batman tells him. So, like, that's his code. It's Batman's code. So he lives by Batman's code. Batman has a code that he created. So he can alter it because it's his code.
Right. Exactly.
So, like, if he were to kill Tony Zuko, that would have been, I think he might have. Maybe not in this episode we saw, but when Robin was like 9 years old. Or when Dick was 9 or 10 years old. I think if he would have caught him before he left, he might have killed him. Depending on the situations was involved. If he was there.
Rightfully so.
He might have.
Well, he didn't, though. Well,
no. But it begs an interesting question because you never see Dick Grayson ever break that code. But you'll see Jason Todd later on where he doesn't really believe in that code. He's a lot more of a loose cannon than Dick.
Like it's a matter of whatever's right. Whatever he feels is right.
Right. And he questions him all the time. Dick might not necessarily agree with the way he does things, but he respects the hell out of him. And he would never cross them.
Yeah, but you do have two different backstories going into it, too. I mean, you have Dick Grayson, who essentially was just enough to have his parents die. And he's essentially just, a good kid, and just bad shit happened to him. Right. Where, with
Jason
Todd, he was a street thug. So he has a little bit of that wild streak in him, whereas Dick Grayson wouldn't.
Right. Well, Batman saw a lot more potential in Jason because Jason had a lot more of an edge to him. Well,
and that's the thing, with that bad boy, he has a little more independence, a little bit more free thought, a little bit more, willingness to think on his own because he had to.
Right.
Where, Dick Grayson had Batman as a support mechanism, and Jason Todd didn't. So.
Right. That's why he didn't understand when he came back from the dead in the Red Hood movie why Joker was still alive. Because to him it was like, how could... And I know we kind of digressed into just talking about Robin, but this is kind of what Robin's Reckoning was about. I mean, we're talking about Robin today. This is the Robin cast. This isn't the Batcast, right?
Considering he was
the star of the show.
In these 3... or 4, depending on how you look at it. He had just as much screen time as Batman, if not more. Right. So, yeah, fuck it.
So, I don't know. I mean, like Jason Todd, he was a little stronger than Robin. He was, I wouldn't say necessarily smarter, but he was more independent thinking, like you said. That he doesn't
because, like, too, he was forced to be. That's the thing to keep on thinking about. He was forced to think more independently, be more independent.
Right.
There was no other option. Like that's what he had to do. So.
Right. And then Tim Drake, which we'll get in another. That's the third Robin. Yeah, there's three. Tim Drake, who ends up becoming the Joker later.
Well then.
Because of the brainwashing or whatever.
Okay.
So he had that weird chip in his mind that turned him into the Joker later on. That's why Return of the Joker is a thing, because that's Tim Drake. Which is actually kind of interesting, too. So like with that, I think we're done with Robin's rectum. I guess now we've move on to the Laughing Fish.
The Laughing Fish. That was a good episode. So was Joker being Joker, and he really had no point of anything he was doing in this.
That's why it was awesome.
The plot is so absurd that you have to take like the Joker plots and look at it as though he's coming up with the most absurd thing that could get him from point A to point B. It's like, if you know how they say from point A to point B, the quickest route is a straight line. He tries to take like the most squiggly, convoluted bullshit line to get from point A to point B. And that's, again, what he was doing here. So he had fish with his face on it that were smiling.
That wasn't poisoned. It was normal fish.
Yeah, just normal fish with his face on it. And he wanted to get them copyrighted so people who used products with fish in them, like, lip balm or sardines or whatever, him a percentage. Because he copyrighted all fish, because now all fish have his face on it. And he went to the copyright office with his whole crew, and they told him, no, you can't copyright like a living being. And that set him off. So then he gave a deadline as to when he needed this changed by. And he ran ads on TV for Joker's Amazing Fish. And he said towards the end of it, though, but it's not mine until I get the copyright for it. And he was singling this innocent guy out again. Here he goes, picking on an innocent guy, the copyright clerk.
Who has no
power over.
He
has no power over copyright law. He tells the Joker, I can't copyright this. The Joker wants him to do it anyway. This poor innocent guy who just like signs copyright papers all day. The Joker's focusing on him. So of course that gets Batman's attention, and that's kind of where the story is. So you had Joker in this one, Harley Quinn, Detective Bullock. You didn't have Robin in this one, not a Robin episode. So this is the one that we have with no Robin in it.
We usually don't get Robin with the Joker. Outside of Christmas with the Joker, like Joker is a Batman villain. He's not really involved with Dick Grayson precise. He fucks with the Robins, but the Dick Grayson Robin was one he never really messed with. I don't know why that is, but it wasn't one that he went out of his way to torture. It was always everyone else. I mean, he raped Batgirl, right?
I mean, if that's how you're looking at it, I thought she didn't get raped.
That was a joke.
Okay.
It was implied that it could have been one or the other. We don't know.
We'll just go with she got raped.
Sure.
Yeah.
She got sexually assaulted. We'll keep it there.
All right, Law and Order SVU. Right.
Yeah, great. That fucking show. So, man, Mark Hamill was great in this. This was probably his best performance as the Joker in the series so far.
This was the most obvious episode of him just being there just to be there and not having any point to his plot other than he's fucking with everyone. Like, this was the most obvious example of there is no reason, there's no rhyme or reason as to what he does. He just does it to do it, and that's it. Because he's the Joker.
He went after that Thomas Jackson guy, too?
Yeah, the second guy, the guy who is the copyright clerk's boss. He went after him afterward. Yeah.
I liked it when Bullock's like, no one can get in here. We have cops at every door, and Batman just walks in.
Yeah, well, you might need to protect that better, because if I can get in, Joker can get in. You had Batman wrestle a shark
Amazing.
in this one. That's definitely, noteworthy right there. He successfully wrestled a shark.
Also, water for like a
I was
long
going to say,
time.
he held his breath for about 4 minutes, 5 minutes while wrestling a shark. Oh, apparently he doesn't.
And making grunt noises.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure you kind of have to breathe to do that.
Yeah. Well, not him. So.
Bullock was awesome in this too. I liked how he figured out where the Joker was before Batman did. So I love how he has to point in his face. He's like, I didn't need no bat computer to tell me that fish came from an aquarium. And then Joker's like, well, this has all become tremendously boring.
Also, towards the end of this one, they heavily implied Joker got eaten by a shark.
Uh-huh.
What do we think happened there?
So here's the thing with Bruce Timm, how he does the Joker.
I mean, obviously he didn't get eaten by a shark. But.
He likes to show him get killed off a lot. But then he comes back, and it's never explained how he survived the last incident.
Or how he escaped.
Or how he escaped. And I think that's planned purposely because it makes you think that unless you actually see him die, a dead body, he's not dead.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him in a plane explode with him in the plane and him laughing on the way down, and he shows up in the next episode. He shows up in Justice League. I've seen him. The only time I've actually seen him die was in Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, and he's supposed to be that's when he was actually killed off eventually. Like for reals, the Mark Hamill Joker was killed.
Okay.
That's in Bruce Timm's universe, of course. Universe, Batman dies. Joker dies. Kind of in their prime years, so it's not like they're like really, really old. They're getting older, but they're not like
elderly.
Elderly, like in the Return of the Joker. That's a different universe. Both like in their 60s. This one. And Joker's older than Batman. In this one, Joker, I don't know, I would probably say it's maybe mid-40s. Batman's probably late 30s, early 40s. Somewhere in that range.
Okay.
It's going to be my guess. I don't know what the difference is in the age group between the two in Bruce Timm's universe, but they seem like they're kind of relatively the same age. Other versions, they have Joker like 10 years older. I don't know. Yeah, Joker's lines were awesome in this.
Mm-hmm.
The cattle burger line, I liked it when he put a fish head over Harley Quinn's head.
Made her a mermaid. Mm-hmm.
Which made no sense. And his signal to make everyone get ready is a whoopee cushion.
He's the Joker. Of course.
Would you ever work for the Joker?
I was going to say, wow, we have one viewer right now live, but it's probably you.
It's me.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, it's me.
Lovely.
Yep.
Thanks for getting my hopes up.
Yep. I'll even like it. Bam. It's liked. News for the podcast. I think we're going to be moving to Facebook Live.
Ooh.
I don't know if
I'll have to remake our logo, too.
We may not stay on YouTube.
That's fine.
There's no traffic, is what it comes down to. Facebook Live will be a little bit more local. And I think we have to try to grow it through Facebook, and then we can go back to YouTube.
So we'll do a big one then to launch off our Facebook Live thing. So we should probably do a movie for that.
Okay.
Would be my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Strike while the iron's hot, do the Killing Joke. It's still in stores.
We can do the Killing Joke.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's still in stores. So, like, it's still in Walmart. I promise. So,
right. So
did you end up buying that one, by the way, or did you just download it?
I have it downloaded.
You have it downloaded? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I guess what we'll do is we'll do the Killing. I think that'll be our next movie. It'll be the Killing Joke. And then after that, I don't know if we'll make a new. I think we'll make a. Is there a way you can make a separate Facebook account?
Yeah.
And then link it.
Or
it be broadcasting, say, on my personal channel, and
I'm sure it can be done.
I'll have to figure it out. And we'll have to get a camera.
That's fine.
And take a picture of the crowbar.
Like by never mind. All right.
So I'm thinking maybe we'll put it like right there. We'll sit kind of this side, or vice versa, or over there.
You want it in the corner looking down?
I want it to see. I want it like up, looking. Yeah.
Hmm.
Think that's too weird?
I feel like that'll look like a security camera. Like we're about to rob a fucking bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I like how you're excited about that. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a way where it's not like how Bors and Bernstein do it. Well, Terry Bors is retired or dead. But how the Score do it, they have kind of an offsetting camera, and you can see Dan on one side and Jason on the other. But Jason doesn't have, you don't really see his face. You kind of see the back of his head. But it's kind of a side view camera that shoots like in the middle, and you see them on like that. And since we don't sit directly across from each other, they do. So maybe we might have to do that. I don't know if we have to get 2 mics.
Yeah, we'd have to have a second mic to do that. Which is fine. I've been thinking about that for a while anyway. So, well, you give me a firm date as to when you want to start the thing on Facebook Live. I don't know if you want to look into that and see what's involved, because I don't have Facebook. I don't deal with Facebook at all. Like I'm exclusively Twitter. So if you let me know when you want to start that, I can order another one of these or whatever, and then we could split the cost of a camera or something like that. Or
sure.
Whatever you want to do on that. We'll get a I think we should do like a semi-decent camera, I think. I mean, I do have a camera. I'm just not sure how good it is with video and how it would work live. So I could mess around with it a little bit, because if that's the case, then we would just need a tripod if it would actually work for it. But I'm not sure how it would work live and stuff. So I'll have to do some research into that. But
it'd be we have another animated series episode, then we have another one, and then it's the movie. So 3 weeks out.
Okay.
We'd go.
So we have a little bit of time to do some research in it. I think you are right about Facebook Live. I think, like you said, there's just obviously like way more traffic there than
more local traffic.
Well, local traffic, but I mean, I think that leads to anything in general that could.
Even though I think YouTube might be an overall bigger site, there's a lot more on there. There's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Facebook Live, people are scrolling through their feeds and bam, it's right there. And they can click on it, and it's already playing live. Because how Facebook does it is the video will be playing, but there'll be no audio unless you click on it. So they'll see it like, oh, what's this? And then bam, view count. Bitch.
Bitch.
Other than that, Laughing Fish, there wasn't a whole lot there outside of that. Moving to Night of the Ninja.
Interesting episode.
This was really good.
So as he pointed out, it gets into a guy who's robbing Bruce Wayne's different business ventures. It starts off with Wayne Cosmetics, I think.
Yeah.
And they move on to a few different things from there. And it's the guy who
I didn't realize how many businesses.
Yeah, he had. I mean, he had Wayne Storage. His basic Wayne Industries, in there. I mean, this guy was robbing all of Wayne's different business ventures. So that being said, robbery taking place, and then they do to Wayne training in Japan, and him having an issue with another one of his people he was training with, who was one of the the Asians over there or whatever, and he was training with him, and these two obviously conflicted, and it turns out throughout watching it that the guy who was giving him issues back then is now the ninja who has a personal vendetta against Bruce Wayne because Bruce Wayne got him kicked out of the dojo.
Even though he really didn't. He got himself kicked.
Yeah, he got himself kicked out, but because of Bruce Wayne, his plan failed. So in his mind, he's taking it out. His plan was
stupid.
His plan was to steal a sword from from the sensei, from the master.
And he would have got caught.
The sword was, hundreds of years old and worth tons of money. The guy wanted it because he needed the money, and from his perspective, Bruce Wayne doesn't understand what it means to be poor. He keeps on referring to Bruce Wayne as, son of rich parents or whatever, or however he phrases it, implying that, Bruce Wayne is rich and, he doesn't take anything seriously. But this guy, he has to turn to being a thief to make money because he doesn't come from a rich background. So I guess we should just turn into thieves, pretty much, because neither one of us comes from a rich background. So we should both be thieves. No, we should get caught robbing a bank. and then whoever turns us in, when we get out, we have a personal vendetta against them because they stopped us from robbing a bank. Would be the equivalent of it. So, but we get to see someone who, you know, he's good. He is
Good.
trained very well. He gives it to Batman / Bruce Wayne as well as Batman can dish it. You know, so this guy is very well trained, very good, very, very fast. He's smart. It even comes up, someone says, "Oh, you're just a common thief." He's like, "No, I'm not a common thief. I'm the best," or however he phrased it. So, this guy is very interesting.
Yeah. Robin plays a part in this too.
Mm-hmm.
Robin saved him the first time.
An alarm.
That was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
He sets off the alarm and then makes fun of himself. He's like, "Oh, great. Way to go, Dick. Expert crime fighter."
Hey, guess what? We have one view. Oh, never mind. Fuck.
I'm going to give this a thumbs down.
Thumbs down takes away the like.
I can't share my live link on Facebook. It's being a dickhole. I'll check. Check out my melody. Check out my melody.
All right, Limp Biscuit. Just one
more fight. So, anyways, so when I was younger, I didn't understand that fight in the ballroom or whatever. What?
I sent you a message through here in group chat.
Oh, I can look. What? Fuck you.
Did you get my message?
No, I'm here, Muha.
I said, thanks for watching Batcast. It had 3 exclamation points. I thought about doing a smiley face, but I didn't get there.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
it's nice. So the thing was that I didn't understand that Batman was holding back, or Bruce was holding back, because Summer Sanders was there.
Oh yeah, he didn't want to. I didn't get that at first until the very end of it either. That he gave the nod to Robin to cover up. Oh, she didn't realize how trained he actually was. So that's why he took just a complete ass beating.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "I'm getting tired of this." And then he kicked the shit out of him.
Oh yeah, he beat his ass. Yeah, he beat his ass completely. So actually, a very clever way to hide his identity. Like, it's almost future-proofing himself there. Like, it actually works out in his favor that he took that beating, because he's able to make himself look, somewhat weak as Bruce Wayne, and then you'd never expect this guy as Batman.
Right.
So it kind of protects his identity a little bit further.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was a very solid episode.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Robin, he pulled the carpet over her, and then he saved him on the rooftop. Even though he was told to stay home both times,
as Triple H would put it, he's a good utility player.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
He's a solid B+ player.
Yeah.
So with the last couple episodes, does your opinion on Robin change?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a lot more positive, because they didn't portray him as just a whiny bitch the whole time, and that was his portrayal up to this point. I mean, even in Under the Red Hood, that was kind of what he was. He was a whiny bitch.
Correct. Oh,
No, you're supposed to say, "Here, let me sit down."
yeah, sit down, my fuck. So next week, we got another 2-parter.
Cool.
Ooh. Aww. So next week we get Cat Scratch Fever. The Strange Secret of Bruce Wayne. That's a Hugo Strange episode.
Okay.
And then Heart of Steel Part 1 and Part 2. And the next week we have the Riddler finally. If you're so smart, why aren't you rich? That's the name of the episode. Joker's Wild and Tiger Tiger. And then we'll have the Killing Joke.
Okay.
So we'll finish off disc 2 over the next 2 weeks. Do we have anything else to add?
Not really. I think you covered your deer committing suicide in the beginning of the episodes.
I
And
do that a lot.
you did a very thorough job on these episodes here.
Huh?
What?
Was that sarcasm?
No.
Oh, okay.
Could have been. And it wasn't, though.
Lego Batman. I guess we're going to have to cover it, aren't we?
I mean, probably should.
It is Batman related. I mean, it's directly Batman related. Or indirectly. No.
Last week, I watched WWE's tribute to the troops, and it brought a tear to my eye. Seeing the WWE superstars interact with the men and women protecting our nation really brought some things into focus. It truly made me realize.
We'll end on this, by the way.
Okay.
Now we're going to take you to the WWE World Headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. Standing by Kurt Angle at our WWE studios to issue the apology which was ordered by General Manager Long.
I've been told to issue an apology for my actions last week. An apology to the SmackDown audience. Apology to my fellow SmackDown superstars. An apology.
What?
Booker T. And more specifically, an apology to Booker T's wife, Sharmell. I've also been told that if I don't issue an apology, Theodore Long will suspend me indefinitely. No one needs to tell me to do the right thing. So, here it goes. The fact is, I'm man enough to admit to my mistakes. And last week, that was a mistake. I'm not proud of what I did. But you have to understand, after WrestleMania, I was on fire. I thought it was just a formality that I'd be WWE champion again. And Booker T stopped all that. I wanted to get revenge in the worst possible way. But I admit, I went way over the line. I made it way too personal. I went to a place I've never gone before. And I am ashamed of myself. So Booker, Sharmell, for the anguish I put you both through, for the complete lack of professionalism on my part, I'd just like to say to you, and to my SmackDown audience, and also to my fellow superstars, I am truly, truly sorry. Crap. I apologize. Let's go. Let's go. However, it's got what they wanted. I'd like to talk about what I want. And what I want is for Sharmell to tell the truth. I want Sharmell to admit that she is a gutter. Booker T, your wife is everything I say she is. Now I know that gets you upset, but I have proof. I saw it with my own eyes after I was alone with her last week. Let me ask you something. Sharmell, did you tell Booker? Huh? Did you tell him that we kissed? Did you tell him, did you tell Booker that you liked it? Did you tell him why you were screaming? Did you tell him why? It wasn't because I was beating the hell out of you, Book. She was screaming because she wanted more. More from me. She couldn't keep her hands off me. Booker, your wife, she molested me. I don't even know how to say this, but Charmel, she fondled my privates. And what's more, we both loved it. So Booker, this Sunday, I'm gonna make you scream, but for a different reason. I'm gonna break your ankle. And Charmel, dominate your husband. I'm gonna give you exactly what you want later on that night. And that's dominate you. Charmel, I'm gonna show you how to do the real
by the way.
spinneroonie.